Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the UK Pavilion. I would now like to introduce our host, Caroline Davidson, Commissioner General for the UK.
Rose, thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Very warm welcome to the UK Pavilion here at Expo. It's great to see so many of you here, and particularly on such a hot and sweaty day. The UK Pavilion's theme is Come Build the Future. We use as our theme the idea of building blocks, of bringing small blocks together. We bring small ideas together to create world-changing innovation. We think that is a particular strength of the UK, but it is something that we cannot do on our own. And as with all things, as with all good ideas, they need collaboration and cooperation. And I think cooperation is very much the theme of today's session. I'm particularly pleased to be able to be here to welcome you all, because I was actually born in Rochdale. But much like the cooperative movement, I'm not quite as old. And so it's great to see it flourishing here in Japan as well, and to be able to have this discussion to see how we can make that cooperation and that collaboration even better, particularly this year in the UN Year of Cooperative. So I won't take up any more of your time because you're here to listen to others, not necessarily to listen to me, but just to say a very warm welcome. If you haven't had chance, please use the opportunity after today's session to go and visit our visitors' journey, and you will learn a lot about building the future and the power of small ideas, and also a little bit about Osaka and Manchester.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. If you can turn your name cards to face the other way so people can see who you are now. These are push microphones, so if you are speaking, please push the button to start, and if you can push the button to end as well. So thank you, Caroline, for agreeing to hold this really important discussion at the UK Pavilion. Thank you to our sponsors, Central Co-op, and a huge thank you to JCA for all the organisation to make this happen today. We are joined from the Japanese movement by the JCA, the JA, JCCU, and the Japanese Workers' Cooperative Union, as well as our guests from the United Nations, the Greater Manchester Trade Mission, and we do have with us online Lega Cooperative from Italy and the International Cooperative Alliance from Brussels. So I'd like to introduce now Mr. Toru Nakaya, board member of JCA, to welcome everybody. Thank you.
Good
afternoon, everyone.
私はJCA の理事を務めております中谷と申します。ローズマリーさんとご一緒にですね、ICA の理事も務めております。キャロリン・デビッドソン英国政府代表、アンディ・バーナム議長、デブ・ブレイブ議員会議長、市川直美国連パビリオン館長、マイク・ブライス総領事、本日はご参加をいただきまして、誠にありがとうございます。また、協属名の仲間であるコーペライティブの UK のルースさん、セントラル正教のシャーロットさん、オンラインで、ご参加のイタリアレガーコープのフランチェスカさん、ICA のジョセフさん、ようこそお越しいただきました。皆様との交流は、私たち日本の協同組合をいつも励ましてくれております。さて、日本の協同組合は、世界の協同組合、とりわけ英国の協同組合に学びながら、今日まで発展してきました。昨日、ここで上映されました ブルーム
of
は
Bloom
マンチェスターの
was
綿
about
産業を学び、
Japanese
持ち帰
students
り、
who studied
日本の
the
繊維産
textile
業を
industry
発展させました
in
3
Manchester
人の日本人留学生がテーマ
who
でした。
brought what they learned back to Japan
自分
and
たちで出資し、
developed the
運
Japanese
営し、
industry.
利用するという
The
ユニーク
business
な
model of a
企業モデルであ
cooperative
る共同
where
組合につい
members
ても、
contribute its capital
早くも
operated
1870年代には
was also
英
introduced
国
to
を訪
Japan
れた
as early as
馬場
the
武雄氏によっ
1870s
て
by
日
Mr.
本に
Takeyoki
紹介され、
who visited the UK
それに倣った
time.
共同組合が
Cooperatives
日本で
after
設
the
立されました。
system were subsequently established in Japan.
私は大阪の隣の和歌山県の出身でございまして、 家は農家でありまして、
Wakayama Prefecture next to
農家の
Osaka
役に立ちたいと
and
そ
joined
う
the
いう思いから
agricultural
地元
cooperative
の
with the
JA
aim
に
of
職
helping
員として入り、
farmers.
それ以
Since
来
then,
今日まで
I have been
共同組合運
devoting
動
my
一筋に
to
生き
the
てきました。
cooperative movement.
今日世界中に広がる共同組合の源
It
流の
is a
一つ、
great honor for me
どちでいる公正先駆者組合を生んだ英
and
国
exchange views
マンチェ
with
スターから
people
来られた
from
皆様と、
Manchester, the
また
birthplace of Rochdale
英国や
pioneers,
世界の共同組
one
合
of
の
the
皆さんと
origins of the cooperative
こうし
movement
て会議を共にし、
throughout the world,
意見交換ができることを
and with
大変
cooperatives
光栄に
from
感じております。
Manchester and the world.
このような貴重な機会を設けることを提案いただいた
We would like to express our
コーポラティブ
gratitude
UK
to Cooperative
そして
UK for
スポンサーであ
proposing
る
this valuable
レンタル盛況
opportunity
に
and
心よ
to
り感謝を申し上げます。
for sponsoring it.
さて、今年は国際協同組
This
合
year
年
is the
IYC
International Year
2025
of
です。
Cooperative.
国連は
IC
共
2025.
同組合の SDGs への貢献、
The
そして
United Nations have
社会
designated
経済の
the
発展へ
year
の
as
貢献を評価し、
ICC 2025
今年
in
を
recognition of the contribution of
IYC2025 と
cooperatives
定めまし
to
た。
the SDGs and to the
各
social
国の政治の場でも
development.
共同組合を後押しす
There
る
are also
動
moves
きが
in the
ござい
political
ます。
arena in each country to support
英
cooperatives.
国では昨年誕生した
I have
共同
heard
党
that
共同
in
組合
the
党の
UK,
政権が
the Labour
英国
Party
の共同組合
and
の
the
規模を
Cooperative Party
2倍にする
is
目
coalition
標に
government
掲げている
formed
と
last
理解し
year,
ました。
and it has set a goal
日本で
to
も
double the size of cooperative
5
economy
月
in
末
the
に
UK.
衆参両院で
Also in Japan, at the
共同
end of
組合
May
の
this year,
振興を政府に
both
求める
houses of the Diet
国会
passed
決
a
議が
resolution calling
圧
on the
倒的
government
多数の
to
賛成
promote
で採択され、
cooperatives with an overwhelming
政府も
majority in
この
favor.
決議に応え、
The government responded to
共
this
同組合による
resolution by
社会課題の解決の取り組みを
that
加
it
速
would
させる
support cooperative
と
initiative
述べました。
to solve social issues.
このように世界でまた
In response to
各国
such
で
growing
高まる共同組合
expectations
へ
for
の期待に
cooperatives
応え、
around the world and in each
本日
country,
は英国と
today
日本の共同組合の
we
取
would
り組
like
み
to
を
share with you the effort
皆様と
of
共
our
有し
cooperatives in
学
the
び合いたい
UK
と
and
思いま
Japan
す。
and learn from each other.
本日のラウンドテーブルが
I would like to conclude my
参
welcoming
加された
remarks
皆様にとって
by expressing my hope
新たな発見に
that
満ちた
today's roundtable
祈り大きい
discussion
ものになりま
will
す
be a
ことを
fruitful
記念いた
and
しまして、
new discoveries
私から
for
の
all of you.
歓迎のご挨拶とさせていただ
That
きます。
concludes my welcoming
どうもありが
remarks.
とうございました。
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And we would now like to hear from the United Nations, from the Department of Global Communications, from Naomi Ichikawa.
Thank you, Rose. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And let me begin by thanking the organizers and hosts for organizing this important and very timely gathering at the UK Pavilion. And thank you very much for the UN invitation for the UN to join. I'm also honored to share this space with so many distinguished guests and partners, and especially happy to be here today with so many women participants, which is not very frequent in Japan. The United Nations has a long-standing partnership with the global cooperative movement, one that dates back to 1946, when the International Cooperative Alliance, ICA, gained a consultative status with the UN ECOSOC, Economic Social Council. This partnership was deepened in 1971 with the creation of COPAC, a coalition including the UN, ICA, and other global institutions to ensure cooperatives are supported in developmental policy. That partnership is more vital than ever today. The UN General Assembly has declared 2025 the International Year of Cooperatives, the second such year in our history. It's not just a celebration, it's a call to spotlight the unique and growing contribution of cooperatives to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, especially as we near the 2030 deadline. At the heart of this synergy is a shared commitment of people and planet. Cooperatives, by their very nature, support inclusive economic growth, which is SDG 8, reduce inequality, SDG 10, promote gender equity, SDG 5, and strengthen communities. And they do this while reinvesting in people, not just profits. This isn't just theory, I've seen it personally. When I'm not working in the expo, I live in Brooklyn, New York, where cooperatives movements are thriving, from the iconic Park Slope Food Co-op to housing and worker-owned businesses. And one thing that always stands out to me is just how proud people are to be part of cooperative. Proud of their role, proud of their voices, and proud of their shared impact in the community. It's not just about the business, but it's about improving their community. That pride, I can feel, is very much present in this room today. And everywhere in the world. I read many stories on stories.coop, from Greater Manchester to Nigeria, from Hanoi to Osaka. Cooperatives are driving change. They're closing gaps where traditional systems fall short, delivering services with dignity, and embodying what it means to leave no one behind. At the UN Pavilion, similar to what Caroline was saying about the UK Pavilion's theme of "Come Build Our Future Together," UN Pavilion's theme is "United for a Better Future." We believe that the future will not be built by a few, but by all of us, together. And a few models represent a philosophy better than the cooperative model. So as we look ahead to the UK Cooperative Congress in July, and the World Summit for Social Development in Doha in this November, and the global dialogue throughout the International Year of Cooperatives this year, let's ensure this year is more than symbolic. Let it be the year we raise global awareness of the cooperative business model and strengthen partnerships globally. Let the activities this year accelerate the role of cooperatives in building a fairer, more sustainable world. Thank you for your leadership, your action, and your commitment to the cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words. I'd like to hear now from the Greater Manchester Trade Mission, why we are all here in Osaka and the context of cooperatives in Manchester. First of all, from the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
Thank you, Rose. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really exciting for us to be here in this room in this discussion, because it allows us to tell the other side of the story of the partnership between Greater Manchester and the wider Kansai region. I'll start just by introducing myself. I'm Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester. I am the Labour and Cooperative Mayor of Greater Manchester, supported by two parties. And through my career, I have had significant involvement with the cooperative movement, and I'll come on later to explain how I think some of that experience might be relevant to the present. But as I was saying, we've only so far on this mission told the story of the industrial collaboration which came from the students visiting Greater Manchester in the 19th century, taking the drawings back here and obviously building new industry in this part of the world. And it is an inspiring story. But as Mr. Toru Nakaya just said, there was another piece of collaboration, and it was on the social progress alongside the industrial progress and the need to put in place support for people who were struggling. Back in Greater Manchester in the 1850s, 1860s, or I think 1840s, the Rochdale pioneers began. Yes, there were jobs in the growing cotton industry, but those jobs did not pay enough for people to cover all of their daily needs. And the cooperative movement sprang up to fill that gap. And it's fascinating that in visiting our region, people saw that and brought it back here. But as so ever with Japan, it seems they did a better job than we did with our own invention and have grown the cooperative sector here in Japan to a bigger one than we have in the UK, although Mr. Nakaya-san said the current government has a plan to do something very serious about that. I want to come back to what I said at the start about the learnings for me through my political career as to where the cooperative movement can most make impact. And it follows very much what Naomi was just saying about gaps. In the UK, our experience has been that if you make the essentials of life difficult for people to afford, you have a very real problem. And the reality of Greater Manchester today, with all of the economic success we have, the truth is many hundreds of thousands of our residents are struggling with the effects of the cost of living crisis in the UK. Homes are too expensive. We have a housing crisis as well as a cost of living crisis. Water bills are too high. Energy bills, the same. Public transport, the same. And it feels to me, as Mayor of Greater Manchester, that you have to make the essentials of life affordable to everybody. And our experience has been the privatization and deregulation of those sectors has actually left us in the wrong place in the UK, where people cannot pay for those essentials at an affordable price. Alongside that, the cooperative movement seems to me to have a real role to play in terms of protecting community assets, as Naomi was saying, or things that people really care about. When I was a member of Parliament in the UK Parliament, and in the previous Labour government, we initiated a scheme to help football supporters where clubs were at risk of being broken up and lost, supported them to take control and ownership of their football clubs. And there are many such supporters, cooperative supporters trusts still in the UK today. So I'm saying that I think it's important to focus on where the cooperative movement can really make a difference. And to me, it's on those essentials of life, where they are unaffordable for people. But then secondly, on those community assets that people really care about. And if people take more control and ownership of them, exactly as Naomi was saying, that engenders a real sense of pride. And actually, more than that, I think counters some of the political alienation people feel these days, where they don't feel in control of things. They don't feel they have a meaningful role in their community. And that's why the ideas of the cooperative movement are as relevant today as they were in 1844. And I would like to see the sister city agreement we've just signed with Osaka to have a strand of work around the future of co-ops in Greater Manchester and in the Kansai region, particularly youth-led co-ops, which I think is a theme of the UN Year of the Cooperative. That, I think, would be a really powerful thing to do, certainly from our point of view. If you let young people struggling with housing or struggling with energy or water bills, unable to pay for public transport, if you give them a way of taking back more control of those things and finding solutions for themselves, I think that would build such a strong sense of involvement and inclusion and counter some of the political alienation in the times in which we live. So we look ahead to Japan Week in Greater Manchester in September this year. I will be looking to you, Rose, to Charlotte and Ruth, to work with our Japanese colleagues to see what we can do to give the cooperative movement, both here in Japan and in Greater Manchester, a higher profile, but perhaps particularly get young people working together on the co-ops of the future. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Andy, and as always, thank you for all your support for the cooperative movement in Greater Manchester. And as always, when we invite our mayor onto a panel, we end up getting given jobs to do. So thank you for asking us to join with Osaka. You'll be delighted to know the National Youth Summit is at Congress in Rochdale this year as well for the cooperative movement. So now to the leader of Manchester City Council, who will be hosting the International Co-operators in July, Councillor Bev Craig. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose, and nice to be on such a panel this afternoon, hopefully with some good conversations. As the Mayor said, we've been on a primarily trade and cultural mission to Japan over the course of the last week. We've spent time in Tokyo and time in Osaka, and we've spent a lot of time talking about the trade opportunities between Greater Manchester and Japan. And it does feel to me at the minute that governments across the world are grappling with the same questions around how they stimulate economic growth and the role that trade and relationships play in that. But that's why I think this conversation that we're having today is so important, because as political leaders, if we only seek economic growth without thinking about the models that are used to achieve it, or thinking about the social good that can come alongside the much required economic growth, if we don't think about this in the round, I think we're missing something. And I think cooperatives have got a really important role to play as part of that conversation. So I really welcome us being here today to talk about different models of how we can achieve business growth and expansion across both of our countries. The City of Manchester is very proud of being so close to the birthplace of the cooperative movement. In 1844, when the Rochdale pioneers made the decisions that they did, it's something that we've remained really committed to in the city region, and something indeed that we've committed to growing the number of co-ops that we have in our city region and growing the number of people that are members of cooperatives. We've already got over 160,000 people in our city region that are members of a cooperative, but we want that to be much more. And we're taking practical steps in the city region to be able to support cooperatives and social enterprises as part of our work to create and build a better economy. Economies that recognises that people prosper when they benefit from social good as well as economic good. And I think when we think about what we can do in the next steps, I'm hoping that we're going to build on much of this conversation. As Rose mentioned, it's going to be a pleasure to host a cooperative congress in the City of Manchester, and gosh, it's only a few weeks now, isn't it? So it's getting very close. But I think that's a really important moment, actually, to galvanise and to reset, especially in the UK, because I think the work that's been happening and the work that Co-operatives UK have done is truly fantastic. But I think there are politicians like myself, like Mayor Burnham, that really want to bang the drum on a national level as to what more we can do with cooperatives. And I guess before finishing, I just wanted to reflect on some of my favourite co-ops in Greater Manchester and in Manchester. And when you think about the depth of what they do, be they small community businesses that operate out of ideals, how they want their business to run, or be they organisations that are operating because the market has left them, because they've been told that they're not profitable, so therefore no longer required in the modern world, or be they organisations that deliver practical social services, improving what is the mission that we have in the city around people's lives. And we've just started actually in Greater Manchester, we've committed to a children's social care cooperative, because this to me symbolises the space that we can get into when the market is broken, and the role that the market has played has meant that for children's social care in the UK, the private sector benefit from a lot of profit for the placement of vulnerable children into their protection, and the local services no longer have the capabilities to be able to deliver the modern kinds of care. So that's just one example of how we're taking two problems, something that is broken from a service perspective, but something ultimately that's letting down people. And that brings me to my final point, is that across all of the work we do, it's important to put people at the heart of local decision making. And cooperatives for me give a really special way of doing that because of their membership-led approach, because of their closeness to the community. And I think it's really important that we build on that. So I want to just thank this event for being put on today. I think for me, it comes at a very important time as the Mayor and I fly home tonight, that one of our lasting messages that we're taking with this is that business investment is very important, business relationships are very important, but benefiting communities is just, if not more important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bev, and for all the work again that you do in Greater Manchester as well as Manchester, starting a new cooperative, our business, which is a cooperative of social enterprises to grow the economy. So as Bev says, it's not just words, it's something we're taking very seriously in Greater Manchester and always have done. So now to why we are here. You're going to hear from the UK cooperative movement first. And this is why we have come together today. In Victorian Britain, the most dangerous years of your life were your first few. In Manchester, Salford and the great industrial cities of the north, thousands of children never lived to see their 5th birthday. Malnutrition was rife. Diets lacked the fats and proteins needed to build strength. And for the poor, a simple illness became a death sentence. Malnutrition and poverty weren't just unfortunate facts, they were systemic failures. But the cooperative movement refused to accept those conditions as inevitable. They believed that better food meant better futures, and they acted on that belief. Through their stores, supply chains, and the tireless work of the Women's Guild, they committed to securing good, affordable nutrition for working people. Yet one barrier remained. Food prices were pushed high by monopolies controlling Liverpool's docks and railways. So the co-op acted boldly, not just as traders, but as business revolutionaries. The question of how to get cheap animal fats into children's diets was answered by Denmark's butter and bacon. So the cooperative movement underwrote the construction of the Manchester Ship Canal and bought the shipping lanes to bring the food in. Opposed by powerful interests and mocked in the press, it was seen by many as a folly. But the cooperative movement pressed on, not for profit alone, but to break monopolies and bring essential goods within reach of the poor. The Manchester Ship Canal wasn't just a feat of engineering, it was a feat of solidarity. It brought in nutritious food and it saved lives. Now, I believe we've lost this kind of bold strategic thinking in the UK cooperative movement, and that is the challenge that I will be bringing to our Congress in Manchester this July. Because the world needs us again. The injustices we face today, from climate breakdown to the monopolisation of technology, are global, and we must rise together to meet them, despite still being mocked and misunderstood as alternative business leaders, but as a global cooperative movement. Technology, I believe, is a good place to start, whether that's in agriculture, in social media, or in building platform cooperatives that return people to power. As we know, cooperatives are businesses that are owned and controlled by their members, being that farmers of an agricultural co-op, customers of a shop, or fans of a football club. In a platform co-op, the platform technology is the co-op. You've all heard of Airbnb, the European cooperative version, Fairbnb, where members share their properties for leisure use, but they also own and share the technology it sits on. In the UK, and working with Greater Manchester, Equal Care Co-op, a domiciliary care co-op, have managed to bring down the cost of delivery through the use of an app, paying workers the correct fees and with happy beneficiaries. And near my home in Charlton Bike Delivery made use of co-op cycle technology for volunteer riders to deliver food in the pandemic. Yes, working together, as we would expect of a cooperative, but owning the technology as well. So this is my call to action, to rediscover our courage, to think as revolutionaries once again, and to build together a cooperative future that meets the scale of the challenges ahead, working together to deliver global technology that is owned and controlled by the people, not owned by exploitative wealth. This would be one of the greatest impacts the modern cooperative movement could make. We must also, as Councillor Bev Craig pointed out, do more to support diverse and inclusive business. So I'm going to hand now to Ruth, the Head of Finance and Research and Impact at Cooperatives UK, to explain in the context of the UN year what Cooperatives UK are doing about that and why. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. The sustainability and social impact that cooperatives have is really important to me, and I would like to share with you today why I think it's also important that we can share with the world the brilliant things that cooperative businesses really do to build a better world, and how we can help our cooperative businesses to thrive and continue to deliver these outcomes. First, I'd like to make you aware of our Cooperative and Mutual Economy Report, which you can download on Cooperatives UK's website. We publish this annually to demonstrate the financial impact of the UK's cooperative and mutual sector. Last year's report showed that there are over 7,000 cooperative businesses operating across the UK with an annual income of nearly £43 billion. When we include the mutuals as well, we have 9,000 mutual and cooperative businesses with an annual income of 162 billion. So we really punch above our weight and make up 1.5% of GDP. Cooperatives are resilient, adaptable, and vital to our economy. Cooperatives operate across all business sectors. In the UK and in Japan, the most well-known cooperatives are food retail businesses. However, you can see here that in the UK, as also in Japan, there are a wide range of cooperatives that we represent. For example, in the UK, we have large housing and energy cooperatives. One of our growth areas, as the Mayor mentioned, is our community cooperatives. Cooperatives UK is proud to support the startup of cooperatives in many different sectors through our Business Support for Cooperatives programme. The programme provides paid-for access to cooperative business advice experts to help groups start up or grow their own cooperatives. Over the last 9 years, our Business Support programme has supported hundreds of groups, as you can see on this slide. Through this programme, Co-operatives UK has helped to set up and register 45% of all the startup co-ops in the UK during this time. And as you can see, over 80% of the businesses that we have helped to start continue to trade today. Our research shows that cooperatives as a whole are twice as likely to survive their first 5 years of trading compared to other businesses. These are fantastic results and show the resilience and sustainability of the cooperative way of doing business. However, it's not just economic sustainability. As we've heard, the UN chose to make 2025 the year of the cooperative because of all of the other contributions that cooperative businesses make towards all of the SDGs. This week in Japan, I have been inspired. I have seen many examples of the SDGs being brought to life in everyday activities and workplaces. Our Japanese colleagues will talk about some of the projects they are carrying out which support in these areas, and I will be taking many learnings back to the UK. On this slide, I'd like to share some examples of our brilliant Co-operatives UK members that we've helped through our programme. For example, Loco Home Retrofit in Glasgow supports SDG 12, responsible production and consumption, and SDG 13, climate action, providing members with everything they need for home energy upgrades. The Dance Cooperative in Birmingham is supporting SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, giving professional dance artists with the resources that they need to further their careers and have decent work. Signalise Co-op in Merseyside, which is local to my home, supports goal number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. This cooperative business uses technology to match sign language interpreters to clients. The SDGs give us a global language that all cooperatives can use to demonstrate their value beyond just the economic statistics. I can really see how we can use the SDGs to identify common themes in our work and show how cooperatives really do build a better world. My call to action today is for cooperatives to really work together internationally to understand our contribution to SDGs and share how we can work towards meeting them. We must work together to express our achievements and report them in a way that can show to the world and to other types of business the impact that we make, and encourage many more people to start or grow their own cooperative businesses to truly build a better world for all. With that, I'll hand over to my colleague Charlotte, who will bring to life another fantastic example of how we really do this.
Thank you, Ruth. Konnichiwa. ごめんなさい、日本語が話せません。私は英語を
I'm
話せ
sorry, but I'm
すみません。
a good speaker of Japanese.
It's been a privilege
speaking
this
English.
to visit Japan and see cooperation in action as part of the Greater Manchester Trade Mission. The spirit of cooperation is so strong in Japan, in your culture and in everyday life, perhaps without even realizing it. As we recognise 2025 in the UN International Year of Cooperatives, I am pleased and proud to be with you today to share an example of our international cooperative development. At Central Co-op, we're one of the largest UK consumer cooperatives with a turnover of £1 billion. We employ over 7,000 people on ethical terms, supporting young people with debt-free degrees and apprenticeship programmes. We're committed to creating a sustainable society and have committed to achieving net zero by 2040. We trade in 21 counties across England with 270 food stores and 180 funeral homes, as well as a significant investment estate portfolio. We've pledged to help move communities out of abject poverty, connecting our members with communities where together we can make a difference. Shortly, we'll hear from the JCA, who are the apex body of cooperation here in Japan. But in 2022, we began a partnership with the apex body of cooperation in Malawi, the MAFECO, the Malawi Federation of Cooperatives. Malawi is the 5th poorest country in the world, but has such a rich cooperative history. particularly in the agriculture sector. To mark the 100th International Day of Cooperatives in 2022, we launched our Malawi Partnership, which is a trade initiative where we sell a range of products in our stores directly sourced from farmers and producers in Malawi from 4 key value chains, being rice, coffee, tea, and nuts. It is very, very important to note that this is a trade initiative. It is not charity, it is not aid. It's a very unique approach that brings to life Cooperative Principle 6, cooperation amongst cooperatives. Every participant involved in this partnership is a co-op business, from the UK Cooperative College who deliver the training to the creative and design co-ops who supported with the branding. The project itself has been recognised by the Malawi government and directly supports their ambition to achieve self-sufficiency as part of Vision 2063. 12 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals are supported through this partnership, with many notable achievements so far. Mzuzu coffee planters, prior to this project's inception, had experienced significant decline in both domestic and international market share. However, through the strategic interventions in the partnership, Mzuzu has successfully regained its competitive position. During last year's trade fair, they were actually recognised as the best exporter, receiving an award, having delivered $800,000 worth of sales, a testament to their revitalised trading resilience and presence. We've supported the Highlands Macadamia Cooperative Union in regaining its Fair Trade certification, which it had previously lost 20 years ago. This achievement reinforces the co-op's commitment to ethical trade practices and enhances its market competitiveness. Ultimately, this has resulted in us being able to launch the UK's very first Fair Trade certified macadamia nut products. We've successfully facilitated the establishment of the country's first ever tea secondary co-op, making it a significant milestone in this sector. This achievement strengthens the collective bargaining power, enhances market access, and promotes sustainable growth for smallholder tea farmers. Similarly, we've supported the establishment of 2 secondary co-ops in the rice value chain, supporting these smallholder farmers and their collective effectiveness. Through this partnership, Mafeco has significantly enhanced its organisational profile and operational capacity. Mafeco now operate from a professional office facility, which also provides space for training and conferences. We've brought clean water to 37,000 people through the Beyond Boreholes programme. Malawi has suffered from the severe changing weather conditions that have been experienced across the globe. Strategic tree planting can reduce the impact of flooding. Floods have become more frequent due to climate change, causing economic damage and, tragically, loss of life. Since 2022, we've planted 24,000 trees with Climate Action Co-op and have trained hundreds of farmers on the production of organic fertiliser to protect against the increasingly rising cost of chemicals and increasing their yields more sustainably. In addition to this, work continues to develop a clean energy programme for Malawian communities with National Rural Electric Co-op, as well as a new micro health insurance product for women who live in rural communities. I'd now like to share a video with you to hear from John at Mafeco and see the work that is being delivered on the ground.
My name is John Mulangeni Nkosi. I am the Executive Director of Malawi Federation of Cooperatives. I'm here to share about the project that is being implemented. Is based on the 60th principle of cooperatives, which talks about cooperation amongst cooperatives. The first place, we appreciate the support that has come from Central England to fund Mafeco, the growth into membership, but also the growth in their business. And the approach is that under this project, we are only working in 4 value chains. These are tea, coffee, macadamia, and rice. And for macadamia and the coffee, they were cooperative unions. But for the rice, in most districts where rice is grown, there were no cooperative unions. And for the tea sector, there was no cooperative unions. Through this project, the Malawi Partnership, we were able to train and help the tea growers in Mulanje and Cholo to come up with a secondary cooperative, which is Mulato, a tea growers cooperative union. The other sector is the macadamia. For the macadamia, we've been able to support macadamia cooperative union. We discovered there was a gap on the number of trees that most smallholder farmers have, and we've been able to distribute to a number of farmers, and this will continue for the next 4 years. Without the support of Central England Cooperative, Mafeco would have been struggling. We are able now to have a proper office, conference room, which we are also able to use for training, and through that, we are also able to generate some income. We appreciate the support that is happening between Mafeco, Central England, and the UK Cooperative College in trying to grow and develop the Malawian cooperative movement. Thank you.
In December 2024, the UK co-op movement came together to mark this year being the International Year of Cooperatives and to honour its long and proud history of supporting peace and post-conflict rebuilding by establishing the Fund for International Cooperative Development. The fund has been developed through collaboration between leading UK cooperatives. Convened by Co-operatives UK, the International Cooperative Working Group has played a pivotal role, bringing together expertise from across sectors, including retail, housing, and the worker co-op movement. The fund is focused on 3 key areas. This is crisis response, delivering immediate humanitarian assistance to areas affected by conflict and natural disasters. Medium-term rebuilding, strengthening and developing cooperatives in post-crisis recovery, and long-term mutual aid, promoting social justice by building resilient and inclusive economies through co-op to co-op trade, as we've outlined in the Malawi Partnership. During the Co-op Congress, Central Co-op will sponsor the International Dinner, and I would like to invite you all to attend this and to support the Fund for International Cooperative Development. This is an opportunity to connect with 600 delegates from around the world and collaborate on solutions where together we can make a better world. This is not just talk, ideas and concepts. Collectively, we're ready to drive cooperative business forward, showing the world that our way of doing business ethically and sustainably can, and importantly will, make a meaningful contribution to a better world. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, Charlotte. And I know your CEO, Debbie Robinson, and President Elaine Dean were unable to attend due to travel. But they're the kind of visionary leaders from the UK, selling more nuts and rice in the UK for Malawi to trade out of poverty. And this is the kind of work that we expect to grow in the UN year. So I'd like to hand now to Mr. Jiro Etoy to respond on behalf of the Japanese cooperative movement. Thank you, Jiro.
ローズさん、ありがとうございます。私、JCA の伊藤と申します。日本の協同組合からの報告の進行を務めさせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。まず、最初に私の方から、日本の協同組合の本当にごくごく大まかな概況についてお話をしたいというふうに思います。日本の協同組合は第一次産業からですね、労働、また消費者、医療、介護、また金融、保険、そういったさまざまなセクターで協同組合が存在しています。これはロゴはですね、みんな日本の国内の全国連合会のロゴであります。これが JCA の会員になっているというふうなことになっています。そして全体の統計ですけれども、 日本の人口が1億2000万ほどいるんですが、組合員は1億500万人いるというふうなことで、これは、一人の方が、複数の協同組合に入っているというようなことも含めてのことですので、延べという形になります。このような形で、日本の経済、社会においては、相当大きな、存在を、示しているというようなことが、JCA ができてからこういった、統計を取るというようなことで、分かってきたというふうなことであります。そして日本の協同組合の大きな特徴としては、業種によってですね、法律も違えば、所管する、省庁も異なるという、こういった形で戦後、第二次世界大戦後はですね、別々にこう協同組合がセクター別に分かれて、成長発展をしてきたと、そういった経緯があります。そういう背景でですね、先ほどの第6原則、協同組合間の協同というものは、ビジネス上の取引、政協と農協とかそういったものは、かつてからあったんですけれども、お互いがこう、共に地域のために一緒に何かこう、課題の解決に向かって協力をしていこうといった、そういったことはあまり行われてこなかったというのが現状であります。その背景を受けて、前回の2012年の国際協同組合年をきっかけにして、JCA が2018年に設立をされました。我が国の協同組合の経済の発展と持続可能な地域のより良い仕事、暮らしのためにという形で、それを目標として、全国の協同組合の連合会が集まって、何をやっているかというと、主にこの協同組合間の連携の推進、これは全国レベルだけではなくて、各都道府県、地方のレベルでも協力をしていこうということをまたアドボカシーや政策提言、そして研究や研修といったものを、そして今年IYC2020、これの応援会の事務局を作っているという形で、2020年を政府活用で、後半の部分については、それぞれ各協同組合のですね、概況について書いてありますので、こちらについては、ご覧いただきたいというふうに思います。時間が押しておりますので、私の方は、では続けてですね、JA グループ、農協を代表して、一夜を、協同組合連携、リーダーにお話をしていただきます。
ありがとうございます。JA 全中の一夜と申します。私からはコミュニティにフォーカスした日本の農協のについて紹介をいたします。次のスライド。JA というのは日本の農協のニックネームになります。JA の会員組合員は全国で約1000万いますけれども、うち400万が農家、そして残りの600万人の方が地域住民であります。日本の JA の特徴は、それぞれの地域農協が一般的な農協の行う農産物のマーケティングだけではなくて、あらゆる種類の事業を展開しているということで、例えば銀行業務、それから保険、それから高齢者福祉、病院を経営している経営もあります。ガソリンスタンド、そして食品スーパーマーケット、これらを総合的に展開しているのが、日本のユニークな特徴ということであります。そういった意味で、日本の JA はコミュニティの経済的インフラ、社会的なインフラの役割を果たしている。最近の課題としては、コミュニティで農家が減ってきている。労働力が不足しているということで、JA として労働力不足への対応をしております。例えば、JA が農作業のアウトソーシング、作業受託をしていたり します。
farms
それ
to
から下の方にありま
outsource
すけれ
some
ど
of the
も、
works
新規
through
新
co-ops.
規収納、農業をやりたいと希望する
Those
人たちに
wish
対して、
to
窓口
enter
相談を
the
行
farming
うとともに、
sectors,
JA
we
自ら
provide
が研修プログラムを
counseling
提
sessions
供しております。
to assist them
え
and to provide
ー一部の
information. We
JA
also
は
provide
研
training
修を受け
programs.
る方々に、期間中
Some
サラリーを給
JA
料を支払った上で、
cooperatives
例えば
pay
1年間
a
研
certain
修を受けてい
salary
ただいて、
for
で、
participants agreeing
新
to
規
join
農業を
6
始めた
months
場合
or
には、
12 months
農
programs.
地の斡旋などの
When they decide to start
フ
the
ォローアップ
farming
を行って、
operations,
最終的に
we
は
assist
JA
them
の組合
to
になっていく
acquire
という
necessary
機能を行いま
farmland
す。
and
右上
provide
に
any
91
assistance
アグリ
for
カルチャー、91農
getting
業という、
ready.
新しいコンセプトを提唱
There
して
is
おりま
a
す。
new
これ
concept
は、
that we have
それぞれの
developed
コミュニティの
recently.
仕事をしたり、生活をしておりますけれども、その9割は自分たちの、例えばサラリーマン
That
だったり、それから
90% of the
リモー
residents
トワークだったり、子育てだったりしていただいて、
locally
残りの 10% で農業をやりませんかという、呼びかけ
will
を今行っていると。
be able to continue their
だから
main
この、
job,
スライド
then
は実際
10%
の
of their
JA が
spent
新
on
規就農者に対
farming.
して
So this is
行ってい
the
る
so-called
研修プログラム
9-1
の
agriculture
紹介です。
program.
研修
So this
を
is
受け
a
て
slide
半
showing
年から1年間
the
に
scene
わたっ
from
て
the on-site
行っております。
training.
次のスライドは、これは
Next
JA
slide.
ではなくて、連合組織が展開している、
This
いち
is
ご
not
農
by
業の
JA,
ための
but
研
a
修
training program provided by
次お願いします
Prefectural Agriculture
この連合
Federation.
会は、
This
グリーン
federation
ハウスなり、
uses
施
the
設も
greenhouse
所有しておって、そ
facility
れを
and
研
other
修生のために
facilities.
提供しているとい
They
うことで
make
あります。
these facilities
こちら
provide
の連合会の
available for
元
the
では、いちごが
was
主産地で
participant
あり
of
ま
the
したけれど
training.
も、
And
研修生
this
が、
case
新規の、いちご農家になりまし
the
て、
case of
今、そのコミュニティの
strawberry
約
farm.
20% の生産のシェアを実現しているという成功事例
Yeah,
で、
this is a very successful
最後です。
case of a
グリー
training
ン農業ですね。
that has achieved
JA では
success.
環境調和型農業というものを、日本政府
We
の
are promoting
グリーン政策、歩
environmental
調を合わせて
optimized
実施してい
agriculture
ます。
under the
今日は
government's greens
よ
policy.
り現実的かつ、
The
実現可能な環境保全型農業ということを目指しております。
is that we
イギリ
are
スではあ
trying
りま
to
せんが、
achieve
例えば
environment
EU では
harmonize
ファームトゥフォークっていう
in you
環境
have
保全政策が行
farm
われました
to
が、あまりに野心的すぎて、
environmental
途中で頓挫
program,
したと
but
いうふう
it
に聞い
was
ておりますけ
quite
れども、
ambitious.
我々
It did not
JA として
succeed,
は、
unfortunately.
実
But
現
JA
可能な
would like
地に足の
to
ついた
come up
グリーン農
with
業を
this kind of
展開
down
しよ
to
うと
earth, achievable, realistic policy to
はい、
carry
一点あ
forward.
りがとうございました。
That is all. Thank you very much.
続きまして、生活協同組合を代表して、全国組織日本生協連の、
I'd like to
近藤麻
invite
組織推進本部長から、
Kondo,
提言を受けていただき
Kondo
ご発表いた
from
だきます。
the Japanese Consumers
皆さん、
Co-operative
こんにち
Union
は。
to
近藤
speak.
麻子です。先日は
Hello
私の
to
出身生徒、
everyone.
ポップ神戸をご訪問いただき、あり
Thank
がとうご
you
ざいま
all
し
for
た。
joining our
私
visit
が
to
説明させてい
Kobe
ただくのは、
Co-op
日本の
the
生協
other
は多
day.
彩な活動を通じ
I'd
て、
like
子育
to
て支援、子
mention
どもの
how
貧困解消など、
diverse
未
we
来
are
的な子
in
ども
our
たちの健全な成
activities
長をサポートしています。
to
本日
support
はそうした活動
the
の一部をご紹
healthy
介いたし
and
ます。
sound
日本
development
には
of
様々な成協
people,
があります。い
particularly
ずれも成協
children,
法に基づいて設立されています。
based on the
このうち
law.
国事業を主体
There
と
are
して、
so
地域
many
住民が市内局を加入する地域成協は
community-based
第119の成
retail
協があります。
co-ops.
地域成協は宅配、店舗、
There
調
is
査、
a
福祉事業を
source
化して、その事業高は
and
約3兆2000億円、約
the
164
total amount of revenue amount
億
to
ポンドです。
3.2
全成協
trillion
事業高の
yen.
10% 以上
That is equivalent to 16.4 billion
全成協の総
pounds.
組合員数は
And
3063万
there
人です。
is
その
roughly
地域成協の
30
組合員数
million
は約
members
1400万人
for
で
the
す。全
community-based
国各地の地域
co-ops,
成協に加入
of
率
which
は
the regional
高い
members
ポラリ
amounts
が
to
全国平均で約
2.4 million
39%
yen,
となっています。
million people.
成
And
協は地域に根ざした小規模な組織から
So we are transforming into a smaller organization that is deep rooted in the local community, but we are developing into a very important hub that is indispensable for the local community. And we are seeing a transition in the local community that we see a very distinct differences and disparities across regions, and then there's a steep declining of the populations and so on, and make it difficult to maintain a sound livelihood. And this is the vision for COPE, creating the future with the power of connections. I would like to feature some activities focusing on children.
For the use of business and activity infrastructure, we are making efforts so that everybody in the community will work in a comfortable manner in alliance with other groups and engage in community building. As part of the unique involvement of child rearing, I'd like to share with the Read Out Picture Book Award to the preschool and kindergarten. So we donated 20 new books, and so that the teachers and gardeners will be able to read it out to children, and then the children will select one favorite book. Last year, 38 co-ops were engaged in this project, and we have an application of 2,300. In January last year, we went to the Noto Peninsula where the great earthquake hit, and then we delivered the picture book set to the gardeners, kindergartens. And by the use of the resources of delivery, we have started the contract service of child rearing support, including delivery of diapers and other products. And also, we have provided experiences of seedlings and the cultivation program and the natural observation program to the children and parents. We focused on the poverty and have engaged in various initiatives. And food drive is one of the major initiatives, and the number is increasing year by year, including elderly people. We provide so-called community kitchens and children's cafeteria and food bank, and there have been a wide range of involvement here by the co-ops. And elimination of poverty is done by co-op. However, with the association of social association and NPO are the partners as well. And more recently, based upon the donation of a membership, we provide some scholarship program. For example, for a single family, the high school students, we provide the donation, paid one, and this year we received 30,000 donations, and then we provide 140 million in the scholarship to 1,724 high schoolers, and also we also subsidize the groups to support youth who are growing without the children, parents. And then last year we provided 90,000 pounds for 14 groups. And this is our initiative of Child Future Action since 2018. And through the learnings and the discussion, individual actions need to be built. That is the intention. And the children's future ambassadors for the registration system, and the number of registers reached 1,323. And we have provided many study occasions to the tune of 376, and with the overall participant of 16,056. And we have started a subsidy since 2020 for the elimination of children, and relevant groups reached to 84 cases. And also learning support is provided, and we have ask the volunteer staff members to teach to the students who are not able to go to school. And for children, between the children, and also there has been an interaction with the adults, than the the teachers and the parents. So I think we have provided a good place for learning. Those are the short examples of what we are doing with the Japanese cooperatives in cooperation with the community and social groups, in order to have provide multifaceted approach to the child rearing and child support. Thank you very much.
近藤さんありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Lastly, I'd like to invite the presentation from the workers for Nakano Osamu, the board member of the Japan
Hello,
Workers
everyone.
Cooperative Union.
I am Osamu Nakano, Secretary General of Japan Workers Cooperative Union, JWCU. And JWCU is a national federation of worker cooperative movement in Japan. And I'm also chairperson of COPER Asia Pacific and vice president of COPER. And COPER is an international organization of worker cooperatives. And Workers.coop is a member of Cooperative UK and also a member of COPER. All right, I'm gonna explain workers' cooperative movement in Japan pretty briefly today, and after that, Chieri, so we'll speak about her activity and worker cooperatives. I will speak in Japanese. JWCU は日本労働者協同組合連合会はワーカーズコープの連合会でして、
The Alliance of Workers Cooperatives, and currently we have 45 member organizations.
17000ぐらい、7000人の労働者が働いておりまして、組合員として働いておりまして、
as a membership, we have 70,000 with the annual revenue of 37 billion yen.
その会員団体の中で最も大きい団体がセンター事業団といいまして、
the biggest one is Central Workers Cooperative, which was established in 1987, and there were 10,000 workers engaged in CWC, and 70% are female workers.
女性のエンパワーメント、社会的地位の向上にも役立っているということでございます。400ぐらいの現場事業所がありまして、260億円ぐらいの事業高があります。事業分野はこちらに書いてあるように、子育て、高齢者介護、障害者支援のことを書いてあります。労働者協同組合、これ日本だけでございませんで、世界一ですが、共同労働アソシエイテッドパックといいまして、一人の労働者組合員がみんなでお金を出して、みんなで働いて、みんなで経営にも携わる。一人一票の議決権で出資額の高にかかわらず、民主的に事業の運営に参加するということで、本日も非常に議論されております、協同組合の民主性というものが、仕事の現場で、働く現場で反映されている協同組合です。ただ日本は労働者協同組合の根拠法が長らくございませんので、私ども日本のワーカーズコープも他の法人格を大体的に活用して活動してまいりましたが、2020年に本日ここにいらっしゃる JA グループ、生協グループの皆さん、日本の協同組合の皆さんのご協力のおかげをもちまして、新しい労働者協同組合法ができました。これが第1条でして、下の方に3つの目的があります。1つは、さまざまな就労機会の創出。2番目の、労働者協同組合の目的が、地域の多様にニーズに応じた事業の創出。そして最後が、持続可能で活力の実社会の実現ということで、これは ICA 原則の第7条や SDGs を反映しているということでございます。もう一枚目、これは実施ですね、めくっていただいて、この新しい労働者協同組合法により、現在までに153の労働者協同組合、新しい協同組合ができているというわけで、日本の協同組合全体にとっても非常に大きなインパクトを与えているというところでございます。それでは鈴木さん、よろしくお願いいたします。
Next, I'd like to hand it over to Suzuki-san. On my side, I'd like to give you our initiatives, taking an example on my workplace. First of all, our work is closely tied with the communities. Therefore, I'd like to give an explanation of where I am working for. From Osaka, it takes about 150 kilometers, and I reside in Toyooka City, northern part of Osaka, with a resident of 70,000. And this is a very typical rural area of Japan. And if you take out 300 degrees C, you can see mountains. And we are surrounded by rivers and faced to the Sea of Japan, full of nature. This is Toyooka City. And once we provide the crane, the bird, which is the special bird in Japan, then was eliminated once a while ago. However, it was now recovered and then restored. And this is the symbol of Japan. And also, The Kinosaki Hot Spring is a famous tourist destination, so we have provided many opportunity for tourists as well. This is where I'm working. Next page, please. This is the Tajima Local Care Center in 2009. The business was started, and in 8 areas, so engaged in businesses. We have only 20 members. However, we have 8 areas, therefore 2 or 3 persons are engaged in each of the projects. The youth support, employment support is the major initiatives, and then we provide the preparation for starting to work, and we provide support for people living in poverty and support for hikikomori. Hikikomori is a cocooned person in at home without job, and also we provided a forest tree plantation activities as well. And more recently, we support youth to start their businesses, and then people who experience child abuse, we provide support to them as well.
So many of the support that we provide is mainly targeted to the young people. So what is unique is the work toward the forestry industry. So the forestry industry and the young people who do not have a job had joined together for a course. And through this effort, we were able to create jobs, not only the forestry, but biodiesel, fuel related business was another area the participants were able to learn. Young people who took part in the programs have gotten engaged. The theme is to realize the renewable or revitalized forestry in Japan, to realize the resource circulation. So based on the understanding of the current challenges, which is the lack of workforce to support and sustain this industry, we found it very important to nurture the next generation of talent. So from the voices of the industries, we were able to come up with an idea. One idea that we came up with is the forest garden, where we invite small children and to play in nature by exposing them in the natural environment early on in their childhood. That could help to nurture the love and attachment to the natural resources, which will be helpful for them to start to contribute and bring back to the society. And 30 by 30 goal is important for Japan as well, and our activities is considered to be contributing to the achievement of this goal. Finally, I'd like to explain one other action. In 2020, Japan's Workers' Cooperative Union issued a climate emergency declaration. So the responsible actions were called for as part of the declarations. The promotion of compost use and the shifting to renewable energy in more than 200 offices around the country has been implemented. was important that work collaboratively with the decision makers of the relevant parties and organization. That concludes my part of my presentation. Thank you very
はい、
much.
鈴木さんありがとうございました。
Thank you, Mr.
せっかく
Sushi, for
今
your
日ですね、もう一
presentation.
人、ワーカーズコープから、
There's one other person
宮
coming
沢
from
茜さんが来られてますので、阪神ワーカーズコープの出身です。一言いただきます。
and I have a work
阪神ワーカーズコー
阪神ワーカー
プの峰沢茜と申します。
These were
本日はお招きいただきあ
茜
りがとうございます。阪
Thank
神
you
ワ
for
ーカーズコー
joining.
プも先ほどの
Allow me
鈴木
to
さんと
join
同じ
today.
兵庫県の、南部にありまして尼崎市なんですけど、
come from
尼崎市は工業と商業がとても盛んな町で、
There's
ま
a
た
lot
こ
of
この
industry and
田島とはまた別の
activity.
都市となってます。そこで、5つほどの事業をしておりまし
There
て、
are 5 key
最初は
activities
仕事
that we
造園
promote.
から始まったんで
We
すけど、
started
地域
with
の
the
困りごとに
elderly
対応して、
care and
放課
gardening.
後デイサービスであったり、
At,
高齢者の
after
生きがいのための就労支援であったり、
and
さまざまな事業を行っているところです。
services
今日は
were added
イギリ
to
スのダンス労働
menu.
者協同組合とか、新しい労働者協同組合のことをたくさん聞け
cooperative
て、
and
持
other
って帰れること
types
がと
of
ても多くて、とて
cooperatives
も
were
嬉しいです。
introduced
本
by
日はあ
the
りがとうござい
members
ま
from
し
the
た。
UK. This is a very insightful
はい、ありがとうございました。
I can
では、
report
以上で
my
日本からの、
presentation.
報告を終わり
Thank
ます
you.
じゃあ、ローズさんにもう一度お願いします。
Bring the microphone back to Miss Rose.
Thank you very much for sharing the incredible work of the Japanese movement. Before we go to our closing comments from JCA and the next steps of what is going to happen to make sure that we do build on this legacy, I believe we've got Joseph Nagara from the International Cooperative Alliance joining us online. Hello, Joseph. Joseph leads the work with the United Nations on the UN Year.
He did. Thank you so much, Rose. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to join you, and it's a pleasure to join you today on behalf of the International Cooperative Alliance. And for those who don't know what ICA is, we are the global voice of the cooperative movement, representing over 1 billion cooperatives around the world, over 1 billion members, cooperators themselves, and 3 million cooperatives. We are member-based organizations with over 300 apexes from more than 100 countries coming together to create ICA, and we support and promote value-based member-owned enterprises that are committed to building more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable societies. So we are happy and extending sincere thanks to Co-operatives UK for organizing these, and also to the Japan Cooperative Movement and other relevant partners that have made these roundtable discussions a reality, and also for inviting ICA to participate. And I was listening to the interventions, and the exchanges has been deeply inspiring. Listening from UK's vibrant retail and community co-ops, and also innovative work that you're doing in Malawi, showcasing the power of cooperation among cooperatives, and making, putting these cooperative principles in practice and making them a reality. Also listening to very forward-looking initiatives from Japan with powerful examples across sectors. They are demonstrating how cooperatives are addressing pressing global challenges, and also empowering communities. These are the kind of engagements also from ICA that we are looking forward to during the International Year of Cooperatives, bringing different sectors and regions working together, sharing their experiences, and also raising the visibility about cooperatives, because one of the key objectives that we had for this International Year of Cooperatives was to raise the awareness on what cooperatives are doing and the kind of contribution they are making in the community. And this roundtable discussion at the Japan Expo, it's those kind of things that we were looking forward to seeing being organized during this international year. And because I don't want to take a lot of time, I'll be looking forward to also meeting some of you that will be in Manchester in July when we'll be coming for the ICA General Assembly, and also experiencing the festivals in Manchester, and also with the International Day of Cooperatives coming on 5th of July. So just wishing you all the best, and thanking you also for this opportunity. opportunity. And as we continue raising the awareness about cooperatives and also showcasing what cooperatives are doing. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Joseph. And I'm now going to hand to Mashira Higo from the Japanese Cooperative Alliance for remarks. And then we'll hear from the Mayor of Greater Manchester. And then we'll be finishing on the next steps for Manchester. Thank you.
JCA の比嘉でございます。
Higa from
協同組
JCA.
合は
The
常にですね、
cooperatives
人々の
by nature
困りごと
has
在
always been keen
ずっと
on serving the communities to help solve their problems. So that was
その
the
ことが
founding spirit
21年の労
or
働者
attitude.
ロチデル組合を
Um,
作った時から
So that
変わっていな
has
い
remained the same
イギリスの
from the
協同
the
組合が
start of the cooperative in Rochdale with the 28 members. The fact that you are embarking on different new initiatives nowadays
お
for
話を聞き
cooperative was very
我
inspiring.
々はずっとイギリスに
As mentioned,
学んできた
we have a
て
long history of
自身
learning
も
so much from the
2017
UK. In 2019 or 17, I had visited Cooperative UK myself
できる前のことです。
just before
日本で
JCA was established.
コープアライアンスを作ろうではないかと。
So we were discussing, about creating a cooperative organization. So
大変勇気をいただいたこと。
and my visit and what I heard there had encouraged me to
今日の
proceed
こういう共同機
with
会を
this next
作っ
step
てい
in
ただいた
Japan.
関係者の皆さ
I
ん
would
す
like
べてに
to
感謝を
express my
いただきたい
appreciation to all those involved in
それらを
hosting
環境の
and
中で
facilitating this session
明日も努
today.
力をしていきたいと思
Of
う。
course, I am
でも
determined
全部
to
こう
continue our hard work
ここ
and
近
just
い合い
as
たいと思う。
everyone else in this room,
勉強しながら進めていくことも
I hope that
改め
we
て
can continue to work together
本日は誠
on
に
this
ありがとうござい
journey.
ました。
Thank you again.
Thank you. We absolutely will. And I believe our Mayor is going to make sure of that. Andy.
You're returning the favour and putting pressure on me now, but that's been a wonderful 90 minutes or so. Thank you, colleagues. We heard some excellent presentations, and at risk of offending the UK side of the table, I think I was right in saying that the Japanese cooperative movement has become more sophisticated. Not that ours doesn't have sophistication, but the breadth and depth of what you now represent across the JCA, JA, JCCU, JWCU is really, truly impressive. I think I just was thinking during everyone's presentations, why is there a complementarity here between Japan and the UK? And I think it has something to do with our shared geography and history, if you like, as island nations, where it is hard to sustain the same standard of living for people in every part of the geography, and hence different solutions are needed in different places. But particularly struck by the JA examples of the farming cooperatives starting to help people with everything, banking and all of the other medical support. And I think that's a really interesting example that we need to think more about. But Cherry Suzuki spoke about what I was leaning towards at the start, sort of youth cooperatives that help young people deal with some of the issues they are facing. And our colleague said the same around childcare as well. I think there's something powerful about cooperatives for a new generation, where young people can fix some of the things they see wrong at the moment. I observe in the UK that young people see a lot of things that need fixing, but don't feel they have the tools or not given the tools to do it. And this is, I think, the opportunity for the British cooperative movement, learning from you all and what we've heard around the table today. As Mayor of Greater Manchester, I have started to, I think, replicate some of what we heard in the presentations, where working through our credit cooperative credit unions, and we have how many, Rose? 14. Sorry, I'm normally able to recall that figure. We have 14 cooperative and mutual credit unions across Greater Manchester. I have started an initiative where, having retaken control of our public transport from a deregulated system, we are now helping people who join those credit unions to pay for annual or monthly passes so that they can have much cheaper public transport. Now, normally, people on the lowest incomes can't afford to pay up front for a pass. And we've introduced a new way of them paying for an annual pass via a weekly payment. And it works out that they can have travel for £2 a day, which in the UK context is very low. But I think we could take that principle much further and linking it to other things, other essentials that people have to pay for, but then helping them manage and spread the cost. And that's certainly something that, you know, I kind of was hearing in the different presentations. A lot of it was focusing on the cost of living for people. And we certainly need to keep working hard there. So finally, Rose, what I would say, what is the action then of the round table? Well, we have Cooperative Congress, as you've heard, coming up in the summer, in July next month. And then we have Japan Week in early September. And what I would like to see is whether we could further these discussions at the Congress and find perhaps a particular piece, a specific piece of collaboration between some of the colleagues here and those in Greater Manchester, and whether at Japan Week we could agree what that might be, and really then work through the sister city agreement, as I was saying before, make sure that there is a cooperative element to the collaboration in the sister city agreement that then we can set off at Japan Week going forward. So that is your challenge, Rose. I would be grateful if Congress could deliver us some recommendations, and then if we could work with you all to turn it into a practical collaboration that we can confirm at Japan Week in September. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So to summarise on our next steps, so I was honoured last year to attend the ICA Congress in India, where we raised the UN flag, and we heard from Dr. Cory Doctorow about the challenges around technology. He will be returning to Manchester to really bring that challenge to life and see what we can do to address some of the global issues. We also have Kenki Maida from the JCA. We'll be visiting the community co-ops across Greater Manchester and the UK and bringing that learning back. And as Charlotte said, we'll be launching the second phase of the International Development Fund to grow a fund so that when there is a crisis, as we did with the Indian cooperative movement, we respond with trade and cooperation. We're delighted to say that the ICA General Assembly will be held in Manchester City Council Chambers. Thank you very much, Bev. So we've got our actions, we've got a plan. The only thing left to say is a huge thank you for the hospitality that you have shown us this week, and for all the incredible learning that we have had. We will certainly sleep on the plane tonight. Thank you very much.